Alright, you were asking for a tier list of my opinions of one. I'll make one. But it's probably not going to be a great tier list. It's just going to be, I don't make like 4 or 5 categories and just put the characters in there as I ended up getting them with whatever stats they grew. Okay, so for S, it's going to be, like, I made a draft of this. It was something like, their presence changes how I play. Like what? Like the changes the strategy employed. And then A tier are going to be like characters that provide like a lot of tool sets. Like characters that provide a variety of tools. Like, you know, quite simply, Pent goes in here. When you have Pent, you can defend, you can attack, you can heal. B are going to be the characters that are sometimes useful. No, I'd say they're just generally useful. Sometimes very. But yeah, actually that's probably the best way to put it. C is that they did that one thing once, and it's like not great, but it was one time and it was good enough. Okay, one sec. Realize I can't actually read chat at all, so I'm just gonna talk into the void. D tier are the ones that are more liability than asset. This is, you know, people I shouldn't be using. Add a row below. I should modify this. Basically, did not get. There are a few characters, yeah, seemingly a few that just did not get in my playthrough, and I should fill it in right now. I don't think I got this one. I didn't end up getting this one. I got it for one playthrough, but I erased it. I got this one. Oh, this one I didn't get. I got this one. I got this. I don't think I got this one. Wait, no, wait, did I? That's Isadora. I have no idea who you are. Got this. I think I got all the rest of these. Okay, let's start with this. This guy may have become useful at the end, but for most of the game he was more of a liability than an asset. Athos, he did a one thing one time. I mean, it's a boss fight on the final stage, but it was a one thing he did. It technically did change how I played, but he's more of a cutscene than a playable character. Bart, very much a liability. I use him a lot. I had fun, but it was mostly a liability. Canas, yeah, he did a one thing once. Actually, no, I used him more than once. Somewhere between these two. Dart, he was in that Pirate Isle stage and I had him swim across the river so I didn't have to open the bridge by cutting down the trees. Dorcas, useful. It joined at a time when I needed a old character, familiar character. Urk, I mean, I'm sure he wasn't great, his stats weren't great, but he was available a lot, he had his spells early, he got Arc Sage early. Or not Arc Sage, he got Sage early. Yeah, he's fine here. Fiora. Use her a lot. Very good at carrying over flying people over terrain. Reasonable fighter. Yeah, provided a bunch of tools. Florina should be up there, but I didn't really use her. And the one time I did use her, she was more of a liability. Somewhere between these two. This guy was sometimes useful. Was he more useful than Dorcas or Urk? I am not sure. These three go in a cluster here. Harkin, used him a lot, provided good tools. Had 1 range, 2 range attacks, mostly block things off. Used him basically the same as Hawkeye, but I get Hawkeye a lot earlier. Or it seemed to be a lot earlier, maybe 2 or 3 chapters. So I put him up there. Heath. Sometimes useful. I used him like twice. I don't remember. Sure, we'll put it as doing the one thing once. Hector is basically one of these in a cluster of the regular people I bring to fights. Use them regularly. Reliable. Isadora. Yeah. She blocked 1 attack from Canas that one time in that one fight. That apparently I didn't need to. Jafar. Yeah, no, he opens doors, picks up treasure chests, fights, evades. Kent was useful. For the times that I did use him, and for the first part of the game, very useful to have. Probably more than Urk, even though I didn't use him as much. Leg out. Same as Jafar. It just doesn't fight very much, but stealing is useful. Louise did that one thing one time. And that one stage where I got her. Lowen, yeah, he's useful. Not as useful as Kent, because I don't feel as useful because I got Kent Insane back. Insane just, did way better. Lucius. Nah, I didn't even do anything useful in the fight I got him. Lynn has caused me more deaths than she has saved. Did a lot more babying too. Marcus is pretty useful. I blocked off a lot of stuff with him. Didn't fight with him, but I did block off a lot of stuff. Matthew should be high here, but he feels low. But he should be high. He's the only thief I had for a long time. Yeah, I use him for a lot of stuff. But I also use these guys for a lot of stuff. I didn't use this guy for nearly as much. Merlinus S. His presence changes how I play the game. Now I can imagine people not liking him in S. I don't know how they play, but for someone who's played a game the first time, knowing that oh yeah, you put Merlinus in a stage, just I just assume I have him, that could change things in the inventory. But if you don't know the game, you're going to a stage blind and it turns out you can't deploy him, nope, you immediately reset, then you go back to your inventory and do your management, because suddenly your entire plan changes because you don't have your inventory merchant guy. Nils and Ninian, yeah, it basically changed how you play the game. They're basically the same, but I did use Ninian more because she was in the game longer than Nils. But also, I used Nils a lot more when I had him. Nino, same. Nino's presence in the game makes me change which direction I send everyone else. Same with Oswin. You have him in one place. If I have him in the map, I send him one place. I changed. I basically changed where I send all my units based on where he is. Like, his defense was high enough that I didn't have to worry. I used him to bait everything. Like, I have this strategy changing character. Pent was, again, the character I used for A. He takes hits, he heals, he attacks, 2 ranged spells. Yeah. He's up there. Priscilla, I definitely bring her a lot and use her to heal because, you know, the main healer. But she also provides rescue and mobility, which, like, I don't know who else provides rescue, range and mobility and healing. Yeah, that's pretty much up there. Wrath is down here. He was good in his stage. I used him a lot then. I think I did. I remember he left a good impression. 2 range attack, high movement. He rejoined way too late and I didn't get to use him. Yeah, basically he rejoined late, I didn't get to use him, and was I probably should have. Ravenhead, I only used him for his stage. He's probably better than this, but his primary purpose was to rescue those green soldiers to make sure they don't break themselves against the wall. Rebecca, I don't know if anyone else puts them up here, but she was one of the only ways I could kill the bosses. Kill the final boss because everyone else was doing too little damage. I mean, arguably other people could, but she was the only one equipped with a brave bow, so I would do 4 times 10 extra damage with the ring buff. This guy, Renault, was he? Yeah, it was more of a liability. He joined, he's not as big of a liability as the rest of these, but he joined late enough in the game that I only used him for half the stage, and I only used him after I had everyone like I needed around. Wasn't that big of a deal. Sane is generally very useful to me, more than Marcus. He would be in A, but his fighting fell off when I think his skill growth was bad. He's basically just on the cusp of A and B. Sarah was useful. She only did one thing, but I really needed her to heal at times because she was the only healer I had for a long time. Baron Lowen. Yeah, I'd place her here. Vida. She did one thing on that one stage, but it was very useful. Wallace ended up being more of a liability than these others. Well, than these others. Because, despite his bulk, I almost game over in that one stage when he was in NPC mode. Because he kept fighting and missing. And then they kept hitting him until he almost died. Which caused more panic. See, the reason why he's a big problem is because he's worse than these. The reason why he's a problem is because I couldn't control him away from the enemies. He just ran into them. Will Will was pretty useful for me for a while. For a while though. Before... Now he overlapped with Rebecca. Yeah, somewhere around here. Did he matter more than Kent? Yeah, more or less here. Okay. Yeah, Merlinus is S at the very, very top. He basically adds a gameplay mechanic that no one else has. The Dancer and the Bard added a mechanic that no one else had, but it stayed within combat, so it's not that different. I mean, yeah. The rings were a little, they're buffs, so it helps, but they more or less stayed within the realm of, you know, number changes in the game. These two are very much just combat units, but change how I play. So yes, this is in that order of how I rank them. Of these, see, the thieves should generally go higher because stealing very much changed how I play. But but these guys have range attacks, which but I use Hawkeye more. No, it'd be something like this, I guess. Hector, Rebecca. Yeah, I wish I could just make these clusters and tie them together. This, yeah, I used Arc more than Guy. Sarah, Dorcas. Dorcas really should have been ranked higher because I used him a lot, at least in the earlier parts of the game. I think let's put this guy 1 up because I did use him for 3 turns. And that's my list.